for minority men, Black men in particular, they like to be the man and to feel like they're the man and to feel respected and have their woman be submissive in all that entails. Um, and so when that is not so much the case sometimes with independent women, because independent women have more of an opinion and sometimes want to be treated as equal, and they want you to help partake in the cooking and the cleaning.
So that's why it's kind of weird when women will say, well, black men just don't like. Black men saw they're more agreeable than the average man to a woman being independent, to a woman being educated, to a woman having a job, so on and so forth. This actually lies on the woman's end. I said in one of my shorts that education was supposed to make you a greater asset to your family.
I got challenged by one of our old panelists, and one of his concerns was, well, the more educated Black women are, the more likely that they will get a divorce. And so my argument with that was partially right, because I remember reading back in the day that if there's an uneven, like for example, there were reasons for that. We'll get into that, like the in-depth part later on. But there were reasons for that. But then when I went to look for my research that I had found with him, my prior research before having a conversation with him, I came across that education for women used to be protection. Basically, if you were educated, you had a higher chance of your relationship lasting longer. But now Pew Research ended up doing a study, and it suggests that that is true for white men, but not for minority men. And when they said minority men, they were specific about Hispanic men and also Black men. The same did not hold true. Just blindly, I kind of dug a little deeper into it. So I kind of have a few of the things that came up with, but just off of what you think, why do you think that is?
Anybody? You know, I'm long-winded, so
Yeah, I think that
if
Black
you want to go
men,
anytime, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I think that Black men like to be the man, and they want their woman to be submissive, so to speak. And they like being the leader, the head of the household. And I mean, obviously in Christianity world, the man is the head of the household, but for minority men, Black men in particular, they like to be the man and to feel like they're the man and to feel respected and have their woman be submissive in all that entails. Um, and so when that is not so much the case sometimes with independent women, because independent women have more of an opinion and sometimes want to be treated as equal, and they want you to help partake in the cooking and the cleaning and things of that nature, because they're doing the same thing career wise as the men are doing. So I don't know. I think white men in particular, when they're in college, I think they're looking for a wife. And Black men on the opposite end of the spectrum, quite honestly. I don't think Black men are looking for a wife, someone to go ahead and marry in college. Whereas when I look at my white counterparts who are in college, many times by the time they're graduating, they've got a ring on their finger and they're engaged. They are married in their early 20s, 21, 22. And, obviously it's become a little bit later sometimes as of now, but Black men, that's never been the case. So.
Okay. So I do have some opposing views to that. I do. So I want everybody to understand something about Black men in general, something that gets missed in the sauce on this conversation. 70% of Black men alive today were raised by a single mother. That means they saw an independent woman working for herself, some of them going to school, becoming nurses and other professions that women tend to partake in. So that makes, if you didn't realize, that's the highest rate of single motherhood in the world, not in the United States. That makes the Black American man the most agreeable man to an independent woman in the world. Most of the things that women want to do, they will agree to. They will be the most agreeable in the world because they saw their own mother, the woman that they love most in the world, do it. So that's why it's kind of weird when women will say, well, black men just don't like. Black men saw they're more agreeable than the average man to a woman being independent, to a woman being educated, to a woman having a job, so on and so forth. This actually lies on the woman's end. I said in one of my shorts that education was supposed to make you a greater asset to your family and not used as a dagger against your man to tell him how much you don't need him. That is the difference between what's going on in the white community. Traditionally, everyone knows that even if you are going to be an educated woman, you need to be marriageable and you need to be an asset, right? The goals are different. That's what it's really about. If I'm an asset to this family, we grow quicker. We buy bigger homes. We raise better children. That's the overall outlook and like the prime directive of both people being educated. Most men do not give. I mean, y'all really mischaracterize us. We don't give a damn about our woman being educated because most men are actually married to their educational equivalent. If I got a degree, she got a degree. If I got so we don't care at all.
Mike, just a quick
Shan, you're
question.
on mute.
So
Quick
I want to
question.
table that thought. I'm not interrupting. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you talk, but I do want you to come back to that question. Okay. So I want to say that because y'all know I got ADD and I forget. I want to go back to your equivalent. Okay. So I just put that out there. But go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, I just feel like most men, especially black men, are agreeable to a woman being educated. It's just the way it's used in our society. It has nothing to do with the man and his agreeableness or, hey, I want to be the man of the house or trying to dumb you down. That's not the way men work, especially in this society. As we can see, most women are educated. They got a bunch of college debt. They bring that into the relationship and men don't care. They want to get with them anyway. It is probably a product of women, the outlook of themselves, the way they see themselves in the relationship. And unfortunately, what I could pinpoint that is to, they think it automatically gives them the license to renegotiate gender roles. And women changing so much did not realize that you achieving the same thing as a man doesn't give you license to ask me to change. That's because the answer is no. It's not that American men say no. Men across the world are like, no, I won't change. You see what I'm saying? So that's my answer.
Well, my question, Mike, could that be to the detriment, us being agreeable, be to the detriment of the community? Because if we're always saying yes, 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 go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, could it be us not putting our foot down and not taking a stand that leads to some of the issues in the community?
It absolutely is the detriment to the community in general. So you'll hear me on plenty of platforms. The way I talk, some people think like my marriage don't go well or something because I'm so, hard about certain things and the way my relationship should be run. And the weird part about it is that the women don't respect men because we're too agreeable. The funny thing about men that we talked about assertive communication on one of the King Talks, foreign men, African men, Asian men, Middle Eastern men, these are very assertive communicators. This is the only way they know how to communicate. And the one thing people don't realize is in the West, we are very passive and passive aggressive communicators. Oh yeah, just do it, whatever. Oh, or we have that passive aggressive juvenile type of communication going on. Women leave those type of men and they stay with the assertive men. The men that gives them a hard no. We're not doing this way. We're going to wait. When you communicate with women like that on a consistent basis, they don't leave you. They learn how to deal with it. Especially if you're a reasonable man. They'll be like, well, he'll come around. That's what he said. So I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to figure out another way to talk to him. Women stay with men like that. So it's absolutely to the detriment of the community that black men are way too agreeable.
So you don't think that you can be an assertive communicator and also at the same time be, I don't want to say agreeable, but basically you can be assertive but still work together as a team?
That's why I said the word reasonable, because if you definitely have to, a husband is supposed to be an assertive communicator. When women talk about leadership, right, you will listen to an assertive communicator. A lot of people that witness my relationship up close would be like, wow, man, you know, your dad must have really did a number on you. I said, well, or they'll compliment my wife for the way, you know, she's submissive and she does all this, but you can't walk over a dude like me. You'd be put out of my house. It's the way I was raised. If you challenge me too much, I want out of the relationship. You weren't raised correctly, right? I'm a reasonable man. You bring me anything, we can go to it in counsel. As long as you understand when I have serious pushback, there's a reason for it. And you don't always have to agree with it because let's say it's something about discipline. That's my God-given gift. You can't outrule me on discipline, right? I'm not unreasonable. You know, I want the best for the kids just like you do. So, right. So she'll kind of submit to that and be like, well, he said so. I don't agree. But so, yeah, with a reasonable man, you can absolutely accomplish that team partnership you're talking about.